Hello, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Elgato Game Capture HD video capture device for your computer. This is a device you can use to both record and stream footage from your favorite game consoles and many HDMI devices as well that output the same resolution, such as another PC or a mobile device. Now for this review, I'm going to review this with a twist. Usually when people review devices, they review them the minute they get them or after a few weeks. While that's fine in the short term, quick reviews are not going to point out any flaws that the reviewer runs into over the course of months worth of regular use. This is especially critical with higher priced devices such as my old Asus laptop, which had various flaws with drivers, cooling, and battery life that never showed up in a store demo unit or unboxing video. Now I've been using this capture card for around 9 to 10 months so far, and I'm ready to give my verdict on it and review it. Now, the Game Capture HD is a capture device for the PC and Mac platforms, but not Linux, and Elgato is unlikely to make a Linux driver for it. There is a Linux driver that is unofficial, however, but it only records 720p video, and I have not tested it yet, and it's also in a very early stage. It also requires closed source, non-free firmware, which can make redistribution in Linux distros harder. It also lacks driver support for XP and Vista, which is a minority of users nowadays, but it's still something worth pointing out since one of its competitors, the HD PVR, does in fact support these operating systems. There are other capture cards as well which don't even require a PC to record, however I have not tested them. Setting up the Elgato Game Capture HD is simple and easy. First, download and install the software, then plug the capture card into a USB port on your desktop or laptop, then plug your console in, and usually it should work. However, you might have issues sometimes with the device not showing up. However, this isn't exclusive to the Game Capture HD, and I've personally seen this with many USB-based devices such as Wi-Fi cards. You might need to install a separate USB card for your Game Capture HD if you want to have the smoothest and most reliable setup. The capture card is small and doesn't require any external power supply. The capture card features both an HDMI input port, a round socket for plugging in an included component video adapter, and a pass-through port that sends video back to your television. However, there are a few major limitations with recording. First, you can't record HDCP protected content. This sounds reasonable at first because in theory this should only be used on copyrighted content such as Blu-rays or live TV programs. And if you're going to be putting in the effort to make a copy of a Blu-ray disc, you might as well just buy a Blu-ray drive. However, at the same time, you have certain game consoles with HDCP locked on, such as the PlayStation 3 and PlayStation TV, along with the PlayStation 4 requiring you to manually toggle it from another display, unlike Nintendo and Microsoft consoles which automatically turn on and off HDCP and usually leave it off when you're playing a video game. To record Sony consoles, you'll need an HDCP slitter, which is a legal gray area in itself. Thankfully, the Game Capture HD includes a component adapter along with the special Sony PlayStation 2 and 3 adapter, which highly increases the value of this device. Not only does it allow you to record video from a PlayStation 3 using either component video or the included cable, but it also allows you to record video from older consoles such as early 360s, original Xboxes, the Wii, the PlayStation 2, and more. By plugging in the yellow video cable to the red jack, you can record even older game consoles such as the PS1, N64, Sega Saturn, Super Nintendo, the original Nintendo Entertainment System, and more. However, if you frequently record older consoles or other gaming platforms, you'll start to reveal a major limitation with this product, and that is, this only supports certain resolutions. One major example is how the adapter does not support VGA to HDMI adapters with screen resolutions that differ from a TV's, as I attempted to record a computer using one and it failed. This makes this capture card a bad idea if you intend on recording computer games or computer systems that output via VGA, as you'll have to use a lower quality VGA to composite adapter instead of a VGA to HDMI adapter. The capture card also does not support 240p, or as Elgato calls it, 240i over component, so if a PlayStation 2 switches to a lower resolution display mode with these cables connected, your capture card will not be able to record it. However, the video will pass through it just fine, you'll be able to see it on the monitor. You'll also have to buy an adapter to use as video cables with the PS2 and other systems, as the included adapter only supports composite and component, which makes this not that great of an idea if you intend on recording older systems over S-Video, because you'll have to buy a separate adapter for it. Thankfully, it does support it if you pay money for the adapter. When you're not pushing the capture card past limits Elgato will not support, the capture card will work just fine for recording modern gaming consoles and your older gaming consoles as well. It can record everything from 240p up to 1080p at 30 frames per second, and it also supports 720p at 60 frames per second. However, this card will not support 1080p at 60 frames a second, and you'll have to buy the pricier Game Capture HD 60 to do this. The Game Capture HD 60, however, lacks component or composite input, however, and you'll need a splitter to use a PS3 with it due to this, along with third-party adapters to use retro consoles with it. If you intend on capturing last-gen consoles along with the Wii U, since very few Wii U games are native 1080p or even above 720p, you might as well also stick with the Game Capture HD, especially considering how a lot of channels I've noticed that upload Wii U gameplay footage also tend to upload gameplay footage of older gaming consoles, and for those channels, the Game Capture HD would be a better buy. The quality of the video output is amazing, and it's automatically compressed to MPEG-4. The quality of the 60 frames per second video the capture card can output is so good, you might have trouble playing it in even your normal media player if your PC isn't quite up to the task. The included capture software lets you even record the match you just played in a video game if you weren't hitting the record button, simply by dragging a bar and pushing record, as it automatically saves the footage. The software also lets you stream, however the streaming software it comes with is bare bones and has major issues. With the Elgato, I'd recommend you use a third-party program like OBS for streaming. The video files can be huge as well, so if you run the Elgato software, please don't even think about using a tablet or ultra-low-end laptop with only 32 gigs of storage, or a MacBook with an SSD that's pretty tiny. You'll want to have at least a computer with a half-decent CPU and a huge hard drive. I was able to use the device just fine on several modern computers, including a desktop with a Xeon E5504, another desktop with a Phenom 2X61045T, and on a laptop with an i7-4700HQ. You'll also need around 4 gigs of RAM and a modern dual-core CPU at least, as this is what Elgato recommends, which are relatively light specs for recording HD video. However, like I said, I'd recommend a modern CPU. The capture software can eat CPU cycles, especially when you're done recording it and it's processing it. Personally, I like this capture card more if it supported a wider range of resolutions on my PC. I'd like it even more if it was a PCI Express type card, which I could simply plug into a PC and use with greater reliability as well, since I wouldn't have to worry about USB ports glitching out from too many devices being connected. Competitors such as AverMedia, StarTech, and Blackmagic Design manufacture cards in this format, and if you intend on doing lots of streaming and recording lots of gameplay footage from a single computer and not having to take that computer around, I suggest doing this. And now it's time for my thoughts on the Game Capture HD from Elgato. It's a good cheap capture card if you use a Windows or Mac OS based PC, since it's only available for around $130 on Amazon right now. I bought mine a while back when they were $139 on Amazon, and considering I upgraded from an old flaky USB capture card which threw up blue screens frequently on various PCs, I couldn't go back. While I still keep around an old SGI02 for S-Video 480i capture along with other kinds of video capture hardware that I just have lying around, nearly all my video capture needs are met by the Elgato Game Capture HD. I wouldn't recommend it for streaming as much though, simply because of the USB bus and how USB ports can glitch out, especially if you have tons of USB devices plugged in at once. You're bound to have issues if you have a setup with tons of devices plugged in, and you might as well buy a PCI Express based card instead. Other than that though, I'd recommend the Elgato if you're looking for a USB based capture card. And that's all I have to say really. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more.